Joining us now on the Football Spin is former Liverpool captain and Sky Sports pundit Jamie Carragher. Jamie, it's very nice to have you in. I'm back on the Football Spin again, twice in, I think, 4 or 5 weeks now.
Yeah, enjoyed the first time. So one of the few lucky ones who've been asked back, so must have done something all right.
Now, you're going to be part of Sky's coverage for the Liverpool-Chelsea game and also just the small matter of lifting the Premier League trophy as well. Have you been on to Jordan Henderson to give him any advice about that, Jamie?
No, there's no advice from me. Maybe Stevie Gerrard, but he was the one lifting the trophies when we were playing. But no, I think Jordan's got his own way of doing things. He's got this little shuffle that everyone's getting excited about today. I've seen on social media. So it's, I think it'll be the Henderson shuffle. I mean, he's not playing, so is he going to go full John Terry? I think he is. So that's maybe something to look forward. He's going to go with shin pads and tie-ups, full lot, I'm not sure. But I'm sure he's had plenty of time to think about it anyway.
How do you feel looking on at this, Jamie, and Liverpool picking up a title? Because clearly it's something that at Liverpool, it mattered so much for so many years. Do you have any mixed feelings about it today or since the title's been won?
No, I was on another show this morning. They said the same. No, I mean, I find myself lucky in some ways because I do feel that a lot of players, when they finish, become a little bit bitter. I always feel that when they sort of, leave their club or they don't want someone to achieve more than them or be better than them. And so they always hark back to their days. Now, don't get me wrong, before this team came along in Jurgen Klopp, for 4 or 5 years, everyone was saying, Liverpool needs another Jamie Carragher or things like that. And it's nice to hear, don't get me wrong. But I'm absolutely delighted now that Virgil van Dijk's come in and is a much better player than me. I'm very proud of what I've achieved, and I feel very privileged and very lucky for what I achieved. But obviously, this team and the player I just mentioned there have gone above me. But that's life. That's football. I'd love to have won the Premier League, but as I said, it's not something I think about every day. And as I said, I think I'm very lucky to achieve what I did. This team have taken it to another level. They've got a special manager. I know there's no sort of regret there or wishing it was me. Of course, I wish I'd won the league, but I'm not sitting there tonight. I'm absolutely delighted and ecstatic for the club. I'm more the supporters, really, because being a local player, you almost feel like you know every supporter in some ways. And it's just what it means to them. I don't really know the players that well, to be honest. There's obviously Jordan was there when I was playing. I've interviewed a few of them, and Klopp, really. But no, I'm absolutely delighted for them and the club and the city as a whole.
Was 2014 a bit different in that regard because you just finished playing? Was it a different feeling then?
Yeah, that was slightly different. It's certainly probably not what I was feeling now. That was a little bit more mixed in that I could look at that team and think I could still play. Not every week, but obviously I look at this team now. I'm 42. There's no way I could play Premier League football now. But that was something where it was a little bit more different, a little bit mixed, because I thought forever everyone's going to say you retired the year before they won the league, and then obviously we know what happened. Really, I was just devastated because of how it happened, really, and to my big mates as well. But yeah, it is slightly different because I felt I could have been maybe part of that, and but at the time I still wanted Liverpool to win the league, but it's probably not as much as this season when I was almost aging them on every time they were sort of playing or you're watching on TV and desperate for them to just get over the line. You
mentioned that game and what happened. Chelsea put up a video yesterday about going back to Anfield with a clip of that. They deleted it then. Was that a wise thing to do?
No, I don't think so. I'm not in terms of people saying, that'll motivate the Liverpool players today. And, Chelsea's still going for top 4. Listen, was it why the Liverpool players up today that much? I'm not sure. I just think there is. I mean, I love social media and I get plenty of stick on there and I get all kinds of abuse. I would never complain about it because it is what it is. You either embrace it and get involved in it or you don't. So I'm not big on people complaining about the stick they get on it or trolls or whatever, So I'd never do that. But what I would say is I think there's a big problem. I think there's a problem with club social media accounts. And I think we all know what social media is. It's like the WhatsApp groups that we're in with our mates. It's all about banters and it's funny videos and it's taking the mick out of this fella or whatever it may be, or trying to catch someone out. We're all involved in them. But I just think certain, clubs, and I'm actually quite pleased that Liverpool never responds or I don't think Liverpool have ever put something on like that. I don't think Manchester United have. I think Arsenal put something on a couple of weeks ago, and I was surprised. That was about Tottenham, a little something. Maybe not as, but I just thought it was poor from Chelsea. I knew it'd get pulled down, but I just think we've got to be careful where these clubs that we almost look up to, these proper big clubs of this country, getting carried away with some young kid on social media trying to get it, make his mates laugh, and eventually the club have to take it down anyway. I just think we get into a period where I just think, clubs should be bigger than that. That's for the fans. That's for Chelsea fans to take the mick out of Gerrard. That's for Liverpool fans to take the mick out of John Terry or something, singing on the cop or singing at Stamford Bridge. Not for club accounts. I thought it was a bit embarrassing, if I'm being honest.
Jamie, in terms of the circumstances of the sort of win this year, do you think in a funny way it could spur the team on to win it again next year, as in win it? So, well, hopefully when everything's opened up, it'll be like they can sort of celebrate it properly, because like even this year, when eventually there will be like an open top parade, it'll be months into the future, and it will be different, won't it?
Yeah, listen, but whatever you say about it, and Jurgen Klopp, that's what I love about him. He doesn't care what other people think, and it's like we're having a tour. These lads deserve it. The fans deserve it, if you like, and we'll do it whenever it's possible. But it still won't be the same as if you look at what happened in last summer with the back of the Champions League, and that is something the players have missed out on, and that real big moment of winning the league. Maybe someone gets the goal. I know it was down to Man City losing in some ways, really, but I think that feeling of when the supporters are in there and when you're getting really close as a player, and I know myself when you're playing a big semi-final or you get to a final, that moment that you share with people, that is what football's about, really. In some ways, it's not about, well, certainly I don't think it's nice to say at the end of your career, I won this and I won this, but that moment with supporters and making people happy and everyone sort of celebrating something together is what makes, I think, football such a special game. And I agree, Liverpool, they haven't really had that moment, and I don't think they ever really will. They can have a bus tour in October, November, I'm not sure when it'll be, but it still won't be the same, and it's just unfortunate, the way it's fell. It's not just Liverpool. Whoever wins the Champions League, or, Leeds obviously are gathering with the players and supporters, but it certainly wasn't the same. And no, it won't. And you're right. Fingers crossed it will, and they'll think, we want to get Anfield full and win the league by scoring, a goal later on at Anfield and have that euphoria. So, no, I agree. Hopefully, it will be something that spurs them on again.
Is there anything to be concerned about in Liverpool's form since they won the title, or is that just a natural drop-off?
I wouldn't be concerned about the form. The natural drop-off, I actually look at it a little bit differently, because in terms of the drop, I think Liverpool have been desperate to win those games, if I'm being totally honest. And I think they've probably, maybe a little bit of luck that they've had at certain times, maybe just hasn't been with them in these games. And I look at the Arsenal game, I don't think Liverpool played particularly badly, but that is a game that can happen once or twice a season, where the other team have two chances, they score, you can't score. Probably a little bit like City against Arsenal in the semi-final, to be honest. I think the City game, again, if you look at the team Klopp picked, it was his best team. He picked his best team at Arsenal. It's not a manager who's starting to give the kids a go and changing the team. And then I could understand it. I just think maybe a slight drop-off, but I think Jurgen Klopp definitely wanted the most wins or the most points, because I could see that by the teams that he picked. And I don't think Liverpool have been particularly poor in terms of performances. The results just haven't gone their way. And the City one, Liverpool could have been 2-0 up. Going to start and getting beat 4-0 by City. City can do that to you, and they can do it to Liverpool. That's how special, City team are. City are a team who can beat, as we saw last night, they went 4-0 away. There's more chance of City beating someone 6 or 7-0 than Liverpool doing it. City are just that type of team, and they really hit on blob on the night. They can't really do that to you, and that's what Liverpool, got the medicine.
But some people said with the City result that this is a marker for next season. Do you think it does have any bearing on next season?
No, I don't think so. Not at all, really. I'm not a big believer in also that you have to win the league again to say you're a great team. I just think whoever wins the league in a season is a great team. It's very difficult. New teams come into the league, 3 teams get relegated, everyone buys and sells. It's a completely different league the next season. So I wouldn't be too fussed from a Liverpool point of view about particularly that game. I still, well, to be honest, I was in the car this morning, and they were talking about the odds for next season, and City were favourites, and I just think it is a big gap there. And even though City probably do play the best football and do score the most goals, there still is a problem there that they have to fix. That they lose a lot of games that they should win. And that is a problem for City that they're going to have to fix. So it just made me smile, that really. And no, I'm not too worried about sort of that game. I don't think Klopp and Guardiola will be thinking about that game when they play each other in October, November next season.
And do you see any other title challengers for next season? Like, a few teams have been informed during Project Restart. Like, who do you see is coming through?
Yeah, the two you look at is obviously Chelsea and Manchester United. Great history in winning it. It remains to be seen with Chelsea, because they're sort of buying a lot of players. Just don't know how they'll settle or how they'll all fit into the team. I mean, if they definitely need a top goalkeeper, possibly both teams, if I'm being totally honest. But certainly Chelsea. Manchester United is an interesting one with Fernandes. I think he looks brilliant every time I see him. I love watching him play. And he just has totally, I feel, transformed that team, really. So I think those teams will be a lot closer. My only worry is if Liverpool and City, for those teams, it's not too much of a worry, I must say, but that if Liverpool and City are getting 90 plus points, it's very difficult to get that, really. It takes a lot. And I'm just still not quite sure those teams could get that. Now, if Liverpool and City drop to maybe what City have done this season, and Liverpool have a similar sort of drop-off, then it gets a lot tighter, where you're saying, okay, it might be mid-80 points, maybe take 10 points off a City and Liverpool, what they've been getting. Then I think that does bring a United and a Chelsea into contention. But I think if they continue that consistently, those teams, I just don't see those teams getting 95 plus points, but I certainly see them being a lot closer.
And do you think United need to address the goalkeeping issue? Because, I wonder you must have had times in your Liverpool career where you've played in front of goalkeepers where you think, what's it like when you feel that every time somebody shoots, you don't know what's going to happen behind you? Is that something that needs to be addressed?
Yeah, listen, first of all, I'm not going to massively criticise David De Gea, because he has been a superstar for Manchester United. He was, for me, the best goalkeeper in the world when he was performing how he did. I think I go back to Alexis Sanchez going to Manchester United, and Alexis Sanchez went to Manchester United for money. Man City at the time were far better than United a couple of years ago when the signing happened, and he went there because they give him a lot more money, out of this world money. David De Gea, let's not forget, was desperate to go to Real Madrid about 2 or 3 years ago. It was almost looked like it was done on the last day of transfer window. I think he was away with Spain. It didn't happen. And Man United at that stage, I think, were probably where they are now, a little bit trying to qualify for the top four. He almost pushed, well, he did. He pushed them into a situation where they felt like they couldn't lose him, because he was maybe their one world-class player. And he made them pay him. And listen, good luck to him. Whatever job we do, we always want to make a few quid. But they've then paid him that he's the highest paid player in the league. And I just think he's lost his focus. And I think the Alexis Sanchez situation, when there's that much money involved and you're actually paying for a club, and maybe the money's more important than actually playing for United. As I said, he wanted to go Real Madrid, and I have no problem with that. You could understand that he's Spanish, but he didn't get his move. United weren't really challenging with the Champions League and the Premier League. He's got a load of money, and I think he's lost his focus. And I just think that should be a massive lesson for Manchester United, any big club. This thing that you feel like your club will fall apart if one player goes. That would have been not great for United, but Man United and Man United. We used to have this at Liverpool where there'd be one or two players who you felt, if they left, the whole world's going to end, type of thing. But these football clubs have got to remember, they're too big. They're bigger than players. They'll always come back. The great clubs will come back. United will come back. They're not dependent on whether De Gea was in goal when he was playing out of his skin. There's other goalkeepers. Man United are one of the biggest clubs in the world. I just think United made a massive mistake with Sanchez, and I just think they got the same problem with De Gea, and I really don't know how they can get rid of him, because his wages are that big. I don't think Henderson's good enough right now to play for Manchester United. He's conceding goals for Sheffield United that, if he was in a Man United shirt, he'd be getting slaughtered for. They're the same type of goals that De Gea's letting in. And the only thing I can think is you bring Henderson back for 12 months, put pressure on De Gea, give Henderson the cup games and maybe some league games, and almost say, okay, we've got 12 months to decide, is Henderson our goalkeeper in 12 months' time? Or do we need to go and buy? I think the money De Gea is getting, you'd almost have to give him another year and get those wages off the books, because when you eventually try to move him on or put him on loan, no one's going to take him. You're going to have a Mesut Ozil problem that they've got at Arsenal.
Jamie, just from a Manchester United's point of view, do you not think that Liverpool are rubbing it in a little bit with the Jean-Michel Jarre sort of light sort of performance? Do you not think they should just crack on, just sort of like a manly handshake and let it be done, instead of all these fireworks and everything?
Well, it's been 30 years, you know what I mean? So it has taken its time. So no, listen, Liverpool fans are going to milk it. You can understand that. I mean, for the last 30 years, we haven't won a title. It's been very difficult to still knock Liverpool supporters down. You know what they're like. So they're going to milk it. I think I saw on social media there was fireworks getting set off at Old Trafford. At Man City's ground, there was something, I think, at Arsenal's ground. Also, I think there was a van outside Chelsea's ground, just as you say, in Liverpool champions, whatever it may be. So I think they've been given the title of the unbearables, and they've certainly embraced it.
Definitely.
Jamie, before you go, just want to ask you on that. Like, does it mean something for Liverpool? Like, clearly, if it was Manchester United or somebody who was there for the title or the trophy presentation, that would be even more special. But there is a rivalry with Chelsea that began really in your day, and like that has sustained itself. So, is it something special to be for Chelsea to be there when Liverpool get the first Premier League title trophy in 30 years?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah. I mean, let's not kid ourselves about football. It's not just about winning football. We all love to see our rivals lose. We all love to rub it in, and that's part of, certainly that's gone tenfold now with social media, really. And when I saw the fixtures at the start of the season, it just felt right that Chelsea was the second last game of the season. You go back to what happened in 2014. I actually just thought Liverpool, the quake of the fixtures, would win the league on this day. I know they won the league a few months ago. They're going to lift it on this game, but I thought it would be fitting in some ways to actually win the league with winning 3 points in this game. But it is a strange kind of asymmetry in some ways. But yes, of course. I mean, a few weeks or months ago, it was all about trying to win the league at Goodison against Everton, biggest rivals. Would you then go win it at City? It was obviously done before, and then it's possibly a nice way for Liverpool supporters. But again, that thing of winning at Goodison or winning it against Chelsea, it's not the same if there's no supporters in the ground as such, to rub it into your rivals and whatever it may be. We know that's a big part of football. So again, it's probably not quite the same, but you shouldn't forget it's a massive game for Chelsea as well. And I think Liverpool supporters love nothing better than putting in a little stop to them getting to the Champions League. But there's a big dilemma, because if they stop Chelsea, they help Noz's team, don't they? So it's quite conflicted a bit tonight.
Noz's team. Yeah, and Jamie, obviously you're going to be part of Sky's coverage of Liverpool against Chelsea tonight. And I'm just wondering, because it's going to be such a momentous moment for Liverpool, possibly for yourself as well, do you have something written in advance? Do you know what you're going to say when they lift the trophy, or will you just go off your gut at the time?
No, to be honest, I actually had I got something through today, because I didn't realise I'd be involved in it. In that, I think I thought I was going side of the pitch, but obviously I'm doing the commentary tonight, and when the trophy is lifted, it's still the commentators who take that. So Martin Tyler will have something written, I'm sure. Something will come to me. I'll think of something. I'll have a look at Martin's notes, and I always get a bit panicky when I'm with someone and we're doing the same job and they've got a load of notes and I haven't. It always makes me think, what have they written on that? What is that? And you start getting a little bit nervous, like going into an exam and someone's got all sheets of paper. You think, oh, for fuck's sake, what have they got there? What am I going to forget? But no, at the moment I haven't got nothing written, but I've got plenty of time. We're not kicking off till about 8 o'clock. So Martin will have his lines ready. Don't worry, that's a big moment when that lift happens, and that is his moment. That is the commentator's moment. But hopefully I can add a few words of wisdom. But we all know what it's like for a co-commentator. Don't go on social media after you co-commentate, because you'll be trending.
All right, Jamie. Listen, thanks very much for joining us on the Football Spin.
Okay, cheers, boys. Thanks a lot.